5th, 2012, going live in 3, 2, 1. This Week in Blizz is proudly sponsored by DoghouseSystems.com. If you use the code TWIB at checkout, that's TWIB, you will get double memory on your next Doghouse system. We thank DoghouseSystems.com for their support of This Week in Blizz. And also TweakedAudio.com. Go to TweakedAudio.com for high-performance, noise-reducing earbuds. Use our code TWIB to get 30% off plus free shipping on your next order, and support This Week in Blizz in the process.
Armed and ready. Who wants some?
This Week in Blizz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Garrett Weinzierl.
I'm Kyle Ferguson.
And I'm Ben Spiteful.
And this is This Week in Blizz, keeping you up to date on the worlds of Blizzard Entertainment. Ben, welcome back, dude. How are you doing? How was, what was it, North Carolina or South Carolina?
North Carolina.
One of the Carolinas, one of those
It
states.
was very pleasant, and then it got very, very cold, and then it was pleasant again.
Oh, did it? Well, that's good. I'm a little jealous, to be completely honest. I would love some
Hurricane
cold weather.
Sandy, we got a whole bunch of Canadian frost come down because of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Nice. Were you up in the mountains, or you just...
Yeah, we had snow and everything. It was exciting.
Wonderful. Did you make a snowman?
No, I did not. It was like a light dusting of it.
A light
Just
dusting.
enough to freeze your ass off and make it dangerous.
Gotcha. So none of the fun stuff, but all of the hazards.
That's right.
Sounds wonderful, man.
Plenty of black ice to go around everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds fun. I make fun of everyone here in Florida because they don't know how to drive in rain. I wouldn't have a clue what to do in snow. So that is that. But I'll tell you what we all have a clue about here. World of Warcraft news. Let's get into it. There was a new dev water cooler this past week, and there was lots of MMR and balance talk. But most interestingly, we have a UI change that could be on the horizon. They're talking about loss of control UI updates. To quote Blizzard, they said, "This is a feature we've wanted to build in for a long time, and it's finally close. If you're feared, you probably realize you're feared because your character runs around crazy with a big shattering skull over your head. However, if you're stunned or silenced or disarmed, you don't often realize it immediately and push your buttons which don't do anything, and as a result, the game feels unresponsive. The loss of control UI makes sure you know when something prevents you from using your abilities. It has benefits for solo or instance play as well, but it's largely a PvP-driven feature. I'm very stoked about this since mostly in PvP I heal, and I just constantly think that my add-ons are broken when I'm silenced. And I know somebody here has to sympathize with me.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It's extremely irritating. Or, all of a sudden it's like, am I typing to someone? Like, oh, what's going on? It's when, you get the tell that just says www.aasssdddd, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those are the best because you can always translate them. Oh, I was trying to run away and shield myself.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah, that's always a blast, man. I love that. Yeah, mine's
really
usually
depends.
just like one over and over again.
It really depends how they handle this, though, because personally, I'm more okay with not knowing and being like, oh, stun lock, screw this, and, dying, than being like, oh, and now I'm aware that I was silenced, stun lock, stun lock, stun lock, silenced.
Well,
if they
why?
make it one kind of universal, like everything's out of control feature, that's cool. But actually informing you how the many ways you are disabled could get pretty annoying.
Well, I don't think they say anything here that there's going to be a unique notification per issue. There might just be a universal thing.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it has a different implication too. I mean, the different types of ways you can get CC'd have different effects on you and how you perform and what your next decision needs to be. Rather than going, I'm CC'd in some sort of fashion, and then going up and looking in your buffs to see like what debuff you have on you to try and figure out whether you were blinded or whether you were sapped. I mean, that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah. And honestly, I think silence and disarm are probably the two that really need the help. I can usually tell if I'm stunned. I can usually tell when I'm blinded. But silence and disarm are something where your character continues to move around as normal. Silence especially. Literally, there is no visual cue whatsoever.
Exactly. Same with disarm. Like certain ability. Let's pick a Death Knight, for example, right?
Right.
What happens is you get disarmed and you now lose certain abilities, but other ones work just fine. For instance, I can still Howling Blast. I cannot, however, Frost Strike anymore because that requires a weapon. So it changes your decision making depending on what's going on. So instead of mashing buttons and going, wait, that doesn't work. That does work. Oh, I guess I must be silenced. Yep. It becomes a different thing.
Yeah, your reaction becomes different, and you don't get into the just angry slapping and like, oh, stupid grid is broken. I hate this.
That's right.
So, the more they can do to make me understand exactly what's going on, the happier it will make me.
And I think the biggest benefit that we'll see is definitely in this sort of really high-end PvP, driven like PvP end of things, like arenas and stuff, because there's plenty of UIs out there too that will just basically show you these things too. And so it's kind of reducing the requirement for amount of add-ons that you need to make these kind of things happen.
Yeah.
It's another just inclusion of just like cool UI features that add-ons bring that they don't have by default, which they've added in over the years in so many different, ways.
Yeah. Oh, in other news, we got a new raid this week.
Yep, Heart of Fear is live. And of course, 90% of progression guilds have burnt through it and already done. But more importantly, tomorrow opens up Heroic Heart of Fear.
And the looking for raid version, correct? Or at least the first half?
Right. Important to us, not important to progression raiders.
Right. Well, us specifically, we're starting our actual raid tomorrow, so we'll be going into Mogashan Vaults and acting like we're the hot jam.
That's right. Because we're pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty progression focused, and as you can tell from our 1 day a week raid schedule, and also being about a month late to the game.
Yeah, we think we're going to give Paragon a run for their money.
Yeah, but there you go. Well, Paragon, they're very aware that we're busy giving everyone the news, and they thank us for our services.
That's right.
Because I'm sure Paragon listens.
But yeah, anyway, so like 6-6 has been cleared for most guilds, so it's no longer, its normal modes are not really interesting. So what I'm genuinely curious about is what Heroic will look like.
Yeah. How obscenely hard will it be? Now, Terrace of Endless Springs is hot on the heels as well. We can expect to see that next week, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty quick unlock. Although originally weren't they both going to unlock at the same time or something crazy?
Well, originally they were all three of the raids were going to be available at release, which they've steadily changed over time. So
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
I'm complaining. Like, it's a lot of content and it's out quickly, so I'm pretty thrilled so far.
I do not mean to drop a question on you that you may not know the answer to, but just out of curiosity, do we know how many bosses are in Terrace of Endless Spring and
4.
Heart of Fear?
Yep, 4.
4 each?
Yeah, 4. No, Heart of Fear has 6. Terrace of Endless Spring has 4.
Okay, so is Terrace of Endless Spring going to be...
Mogashan Vaults has 6.
6, yeah. Is Toes, for short, as our writer Tash would like us to call Terrace of Endless Springs, do we know if that LFR will be cut in half? It'll just be 2 and 2, or were they just going to throw the whole raid in?
I have absolutely no idea. But I mean, in the logical progression of things, it comes after Heart of Fear. Right now, there's actually I assume there's going to be an LFR version of it, although I haven't heard anything. Because right now it's a requirement to have completed Heart of Fear to be even able to go into Terrace of the Endless Spring.
Hey, let's call it Toes.
Sorry, Toes.
I do like that. Good suggestion, Mr. SCS Tash. Thank you.
Okay, no. It looks like it looks like Toes will have an LFR version too.
All right,
cool.
I think it's a safe assumption to say that all raids will have an LFR version from now on.
Yeah. The only thing that made me even think that may not have been the case is because I believe to get attuned to toes, you have to do Heart of Fear. Like, you have to have completed it. I could be wrong, but I remember reading that.
No, you're absolutely correct. You do have to do Heart of Fear first. I think we
Cool.
talked about that a little bit last week.
Last week, we also talked about the new Griffin and Wyvern mounts. Or, well, I guess I was also corrected as my pronunciation last week. So, whatever. Wyverns.
Wyverns?
Wyvern, that's how they're pronounced.
Wyvern. We know that you can get these by being exalted with your respective factions. So you actually have to buy these again? They don't replace your older versions of the mounts?
Yeah,
No,
this
no,
is
they do
for the new content being added in 5.1, right?
Yeah, it's not like you have to be exalted with the Horde and Alliance. You have to be exalted with the new factions that are faction-specific in 5.1. So you've got the Dominance Offensive and Operation Shield Wall.
Okay, so they're still part of the respective Horde Alliance factions.
Yes, it's a new faction that you grind rep with. And it's a whole new set of dailies that I honestly can't wait for because I am so utterly done with the current dailies in the game.
I have to say I am extremely thrilled to have taken a week-long break from dailies and not have had to worry about it. It's been
hey, I know you
refreshing.
You were out of town for that. I just decided to play every Halo game in existence over the past week instead of doing dailies.
That's pretty good. You're getting set up for Halo 4.
Yes, I've.
What if I forgot the story?
There were little key elements that I did forget, but dude, I love the Halo lore. But this is not the place for that. Stay on top. Stay on target. So yeah, I'm really stoked. I really want this new Griffin, dude. It looks so flippin' sweet.
Yep.
Their texture artists are just brilliant. I love the way I like their painterly look now that they've got to everything.
Yeah, like it feels to me as if they've arrived at their art style. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you look at something like BC, it's really, really scatterbrained. Like it's really just all over the place.
What are you talking about, dude? You didn't enjoy having like green gloves, purple pants, neon orange chest pieces with banana shoulders?
Everyone's got a heart BC for looking bad. You look like a badass when you rolled out of Black Temple.
Yes,
right?
I'm talking about.
absolutely.
I'm talking about getting there. Getting there, you looked like the most disparate, pathetic hero that Azeroth had
the
ever
Black
seen.
Temple sets are phenomenal.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact,
there's no question about it.
there were
a lot more, but
there were some sets out of Kara I really enjoyed. The Tier 4 Hunter comes to mind, the Demon Hunter. I really enjoyed that set.
Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't like the recent expansion where all the quest givers called each other up so you could match when you got home.
but I kind of like that from a gearing perspective, so it didn't feel nearly as goofy.
Yeah.
But you guys mentioned the texture art, and it is amazing that graphics for World of Warcraft really haven't changed. It's just the amount of art they're actually putting on those shapes. And it's just a weird thing about video games that
it's not necessarily more, it's just different. And it's, in my opinion, improved. It's not trying to be something that it's not. Like, they went in a very cartoony direction with these. And I think they, did a fantastic job achieving it.
Cartoony makes me think SpongeBob. And that is definitely not what
Okay,
this
no.
is. This
Okay,
is more
I mean, very,
illustrated.
very graphic. They're not trying to be muted Gears of War kind of,
Yeah, exactly. But I would really like a convenient amount of chest-high walls in World of Warcraft.
Oh, well, yes, that would be very great.
and a cover mechanic, all that would be great.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, like if you were in front of a phoenix shooting waves of fire, you wouldn't get behind a small wall just because it looks a little bad.
No, you can be like 90% of video game reviewers, especially when they're if they're not super familiar with another video game franchise like Halo or something. They're like, why doesn't it have iron sights? I don't understand.
Oh, dude, don't bring up Halo because I will spend the rest of the show talking about how I cannot wait for that game. Which is tonight.
Well, you don't have much longer to wait.
No, I don't have much longer. We got a Brawlers Guild update. We've been talking about the Brawlers Guild pretty consistently now. I think the last 3 weeks we've had news on it, and that is not ending this week. It is, you could say you're noticing a trend. On November 2nd, it was revealed that the following about the Brawlers Guild. Entry into the Brawlers Guild is by invitation only. Invitations can be found in the black market auction house or by invitation from somebody within the guild. So, those of you who are in Versus the World, expect us to start pulling some money so that one of us can buy it and then sell it to the rest of us.
This is interesting. Do we have any notion of what the starting price will be?
Well, I think everything on the black market auction house starts at 10K, if I'm not mistaken.
I wonder what the advantage is to this.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to have it just to have another alternative to the regular daily grind.
Right.
But it sounds like they're trying to make this very
Fight Club.
Very much like the challenge modes. And it's just going to be all about show. And there's probably going to be a leaderboard as to who could kill the fastest. I don't think this is going to be in the least bit casual, which is a shame.
Why not?
Well, because of the barrier to entry.
Right. Which is very, very high. And I wonder if it's just a matter of time before, like, I can see, for instance, a guild can, get together 10K pretty quickly. So I imagine, first of all, that there's going to be a lot of these going out because Blizzard is not really in the business of making the least amount of people see content. Right, I mean, they want to try and get as many people to see it as possible.
Well, the important modifier there is not anymore. I mean,
right, exactly. But I mean, it's a big philosophical change, which I'm not opposed to necessarily. But they're trying to maintain a level or a feeling of exclusivity, which I don't think, it'll take some organization to get behind, essentially.
Right, but there's also going to be a ramp-up period with this. When it first comes out, there's going to be a very small amount of people in the guild. As more people enter, there's more invitations available because people who are already in the guild can then send more invitations. I'm assuming there's some type you can only send X amount.
Right.
But they're also setting up for this thing to have its own personality because we know that you go one at a time. At least that's our understanding right now, and you get to watch other people go. If you go and you are crap, whether you survive or not, you are going to be chastised by those people waiting in line, and therefore increasing the exclusivity and the personality that this thing has.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to actually find out more about this because I'm not...
Yeah, well, there's not a whole lot of hard facts still out.
Not on top of this as I'd like to be.
Yeah.
So are you forced to sit in line with other people every time you want to do something related to it?
It's not so much a sit in line as our understanding right now. It's that you are actually in the room with them sitting in line. So there's no queue, as it were. There's a queue, but you're in the instance with the queue.
Right, but I mean, they can't take everybody on a server and do that to them. I mean, I thought this was just your party that did this. So if you wanted to do it with other people, it's not strangers necessarily.
What we read last week made it seem like you literally are waiting. But yeah, we'll have to.
Yes, to see. Is this my fault?
I don't know.
I'm messing with my camera.
Did we lose Garrett? I don't know.
Can you hear me?
I think I see him talking. What? Oh no! Yes.
You can.
Yes, we do not hear you.
Just fine.
Nope.
The stream can hear me.
I think your video's frozen for me too. And all I.
We're gonna end that. Turn off recording. And tell Microsoft that they suck. Bear with me, live audience. Wonderful. Fixing the stream. Skype is a piece of flaming shit. Yes, it is. Microsoft's the worst thing that ever happened to this goddamn application.
I see 1 second.
Ugh.
I can see your lips moving on the stream, man, but I still can't hear you. I'm trying to fix
you still can't
my
hear
blurry ass camera here. I don't know what's going on.
You still can't hear me.
Wait, it's getting better.
Can you hear me?
Getting better.
At
There
all?
we go. Oh yeah. I see my freaking.
Ben, can you hear me?
Nice. Yeah.
Ben? Hello?
All right. We good?
What the fuck is going on?
Well, we still can't hear Garrett. I can see him talking in the stream though, which is probably mega frustrating for him. And actually, probably the live show can probably hear us because he's piping in.
What the fuck?
There we go. There we go.
Hey, Microsoft! I just took a shit and it's better than Skype.
What happened now? Why did you disappear?
I didn't.
Well, yes, but you were quiet.
Skype,
Who knows?
Skype just said, hey, guess what? Have your sound card be your microphone now, even though you hit nothing.
Ah, I see. Well, the important thing is I'm no longer blurry.
Right.
Mm.
This is an important pause we took, everyone. Thank you for being patient.
I just have the sudden urge to say fuck Microsoft over and over again. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
There goes that
All right.
censorship at the beginning of the show, just out the window.
I'm not putting this in the podcast. The live audience knows when they come that I'm going to tell them that Microsoft is a flaming piece of fucking horseshit, and that Windows 8 is the saddest excuse for an operating system I've seen recently also. So we're going to
All right.
use Skype here so that I can beat it with a bloody stick every time it fucks up.
All right. Go enjoy
All right.
Halo.
You are in bloody stick mode. Congratulations, Skype. All right. So, where were we?
I had just confirmed Ben's question that we didn't know exactly what was happening.
All
We
right.
don't know enough about the Brawlers Guild.
Sounds
Yep.
like good radio, and we should just end the Warcraft section.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I think
right.
we're good to go.
All right. Let
You
me
might
see.
want to you might want to cut that aggressively at the end there.
Let me know. I'm obviously going to segue out of it. All right. Well, much like weeks past, we still aren't 100% sure about what entails the Brawlers Guild, but that's because the first rule is you're not supposed to talk about the Brawlers Guild. So, and I believe the second rule is something similar to that effect. A pretty light news week for Warcraft is pretty light news week for all the games. So we're just going to move on and talk about StarCraft 2. Let's do it. All right, if you were not already aware, because you're unfortunate and not in the beta, the clans are now...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Throwing down the gauntlet. I'm in the beta, and you listeners are not.
Rough stuff. I mean, people this past weekend got to go, I don't want to see a ZVZ finals, and I'm thinking, I don't want to see a ZVZ finals without the beta, so let's just rub it in their faces
I
more.
just don't
We're
want to see a
playing.
ZVZ finals, period.
It was,
Although,
hey,
it
that
might,
last match.
the second to last match was okay. The last match kind of sucked, dude.
This is MLG. You guys are
Yeah,
playing
I was so disappointed.
this? I didn't. I was too busy catching up on Codes.
Gotcha. Yes, yeah, the good stuff. No, there were some phenomenal games this weekend. I guess we're talking about MLG first. There were some phenomenal games this weekend. There really were, but the overall stories were just boring as crap. It's like, oh hey, who's in the finals? Oh look, Leonok, who's always in the finals, and Life, who just won GSL.
No,
Oh,
there,
wow.
no. There
The
were
two Zergs are the best players right now. Oh man, what a surprise! There's nothing more exciting than seeing the currently strongest race by a pretty decent margin facing off against one another again.
It has been 2 months of Zerg, and that's all you've had to sit
It's
through.
been
It hasn't been
two
that bad.
long freaking months, sir.
Says the Terran, who's literally been on top for a year.
Can you no longer run by your Hellions every time? I'm so sorry.
I don't want to hear it because Terran are just getting stomped. It's not even a contest. Have you seen? Did you even look at the ESCW lineup this past weekend? There were 3 freaking Terran. This is
Have you
bullshit.
watched the GSL? There's a lot of Terrans.
And how did that fare for them last time? Yeah, MVP didn't cut it.
Oh, I'm sorry. He only got to what, second place? Does that not count?
No, it doesn't. when you're MVP, it doesn't count. And he's out of freaking Code S now. I'm gonna be so pissed if he doesn't get back in.
That was
He was-
rough to watch.
He is this close to an ST award. If he does not get back into the Code S, I
It doesn't
quit this
matter.
game.
It's consecutive.
It doesn't. It does matter. He can still get in as long
Oh,
as he
right. You
wins
can
his
get
up
back
and
to
down.
Codes, right? I'm sure he will. I mean, he is MVP.
Yeah. Well, Supernova, I think it was, got to 9, got kicked out of Code
I
S,
know.
and didn't make
That
it
sucks.
up and down. So it has happened before, and I'm really afraid it's going to happen to my boy MVP.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And there were plenty of great stories from it. I mean, the show isn't really about the names of everyone taking place, so we'll save it for StarCast, those specifics. But there were plenty of great stories. The main issue with MLG right now, to me anyway, is the fact that their seeded players are almost oh gosh, I made myself count here. This was a bad idea. 8, 10, 13. So 13 out of 16 seeded pool players are Korean. And they're going to have their own way of playing and their own metagame, and only 3 of those happen to be foreigners, meaning that you basically have 2 tournaments going on. The pool play, or the group play, where there's all these awesome stories and up-and-comings and everything else, and then you have the top, where things are, as always, you might as well be watching the GSL.
Now, there used to be a lot more foreigners in the MLG. Do you feel we've lost something?
Well, we have seeds for people who have gotten really far, and those people are Koreans. I mean, you shouldn't be nationalist about it. That's dumb.
No, but at the same time, it's just like,
yeah.
well, GSL, I'm seeing the same thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, listen, if this is at the heart of it, it is competition, right? I mean, what are the mechanics of the people being seeded into it? It's previous performance in the MLG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, they have earned their spots fair and square. It's not like not 14 Koreans didn't get in because they happened to be in Code S too, right?
Sure.
You can't demand the best players in the world competing and then go, well, except those guys. Those guys are too good. That's not fair, right? I mean, like you can't play it like that.
Sure. No, the problem is we have lots of tournaments that are doing this already. We have the GSL. So for MLG to be what people want it to be right now, they basically need to change the format to more of an open bracket madness from the beginning, rather than having these pre-seeded, already halfway there seats.
Right. You'd like to see more turnover.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, in reality, if you're looking at the GSL lineup right now, right, it is very different from what it was last season. I mean, there's a lot of new people.
Sure.
So I think they're actually doing an almost better job of having high turnover rather than, the thing is that you don't want all completely fresh faces either. If you have everybody new every time, there's nobody there that you can support or get behind or be a fan of.
Well, and we dug our own hole here because we said, we need foreigners here in America, which are Koreans. So we need Koreans in our American tournament. It's not worth anything. It's not credible. And now it's full of nothing but winning Koreans. And we're like, no, how could we have done, or how could they do this to us? Because we can't blame ourselves.
That was also the story in almost every other game played that weekend as well. I think Halo and Tekken and I think a couple of the other games were also Korean dominated.
Well, what can I say? Maybe the rest of us foreigners should just stop being bad. I'm sorry, but it's not like it's,
Yeah, and
it's weighted in one direction or the other. It's just...
In chat room, I didn't say WCS had 4 Terrans. I said ESWC had 3 Terrans, and they did.
Different.
They had Psyark, 4GG, and Al Hussein. Who the hell are these people?
How dare you confuse your acronyms?
Well, meanwhile, we had 12 Protoss. We had 12 Protoss and 15 Zerg at the ESWC. I hope you guys like PvZ because that's what you got.
It's actually kind of a fun matchup. I actually like the matchup.
I like it too, just not every time.
Yeah, well, we can't have this statistically. Even if the matchups were completely balanced, you would occasionally get streaks of. Even if it was like TVTVT and they just happen to be different colors, what you would end up with is, a bias in one direction or another. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that if everything's not exactly, 33.3% recurring Terrans and 33.3% recurring Zergs, doesn't necessarily mean one is wildly stronger than the other. You will steadily see different shifts and biases that appear in the sort of statistical data of it that doesn't necessarily represent one thing or the other.
All right, I just been watching a lot of tournaments lately, and I'm bored with life.
Right. But okay, but I mean that's an individual who's doing really well, right? And I mean there's going to be a lot of statistical noise out there that will make it look like, there's only Zergs playing right now. Sometimes that really is a matter of Zerg is totally OP. In other cases, it'll just be coincidence.
Yeah. Indeed, except Zerg actually is OP. Anyways.
Like DRG. He's back.
I heard he is. Yeah, he's doing. I haven't caught his games yet, but
Dominating.
Luckily, I also read Reddit, so everything's spoiled for me already because their spoiler tag is just awful compared to every other subreddit out there.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get back to what I was originally going to talk about. Clan support in Heart of the Swarm beta. It is live. You can go and screw around with it. Somebody already took StarCast, and I can't figure out who it was, so I haven't got an invite to play around with it.
It was the CVO guys, like our actual competitive team. They have it. They're always playing.
They need to be more active in the chat then, because I cannot get an invite into my own clan.
Invite me. No, but I mean, while we're on the subject, if you do have the beta, and if you have Wings of Liberty in the first place, we do have the StarCast chat channel as well.
Yeah, in both the beta and live Wings of Liberty. Just type in StarCast and you'll be in there. Talk to us. I logged in on the Wings of Liberty for the first time in a long time this past week, and I think it was Buddha in the chat room was like, oh my god, Garrett's on.
I actually logged in to play some 2v2s last night. Usually I log in.
That's what I logged in for. I was like, I'm feeling like, I think I want to play Zerg 2v2 tonight.
I usually log on and go, what's with all these people in the Oh, I clicked the wrong link. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Wow, they must have really opened up the beta. Oh, wait, never mind.
Sorry, guys. So I insult them on the podcast. You insult them in our chat channel in the game. Good to know we're pissing off our fans in a well-rounded, unbiased fashion.
Exactly.
So, anyways, to quote Blizzard, anyone can create or join a clan. In doing so gives you access to the clan window. The clan window, you'll find a completely private chat channel, news tab where clan affairs can be posted for all members to read, and an info tab where officers can post clan information. So very similar to the stuff that's currently in guild tabs in World of Warcraft. Some of the functionality and some of the, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Restrictions. Clan names must be 3 to 24 characters long. It will be case sensitive, allowing spaces, numbers, yada yada yada. Clan tags can only be up to 4 characters long and are also case sensitive, allowing spaces and numbers and periods, apostrophes, and all that fun stuff. Clan names and tags must adhere to the standard names policy, so no penis clan, which makes me sad, as I'm sure everyone is. And the clan tag is automatically pre-appended to a player's name, and there is a limit of 50 members per clan. So
clan tags only being 2 to 4 characters long is interesting.
Well, that's the way it's always been.
Whatever is Prime gonna do?
I don't think they're concerned.
No, I don't think they are.
In the least. Cloakin.
I don't know. I think they're probably the most vain out of all the different
teams?
Proper GSL teams. They're the most concerned about their looks and their...
Why? Because they're the only ones that know how to design a logo?
That's true.
So let's face it.
I don't know. It's more like their
phenomenal
wardrobe.
team.
Have you been to their website or like whatever place sells? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I almost ordered one of their hoodies because they just look so. they look so boss. I love those hoodies, man.
Yeah.
But
speaking of
the fact
pro
that half
players
their roster has done some professional modeling, sort of, is what I'm talking about.
Well, that's actually pretty common with esports over there.
I guess so.
South Korea.
It's just funny. They're the ones I've been most exposed to.
So what do you guys think about this 50-member clan limit?
Well, I think it's temporary.
Yeah,
I think it's here to stay. I'm really excited about what they're going to do with that limit and what that means. And Clan XP could be some really interesting stuff in there.
Right. Cloak and one of the community managers did post and say that the 50-player cap is not necessarily final, but usually when Blizzard says not necessarily, that means we don't think this is important and it'll probably never be addressed. They also talked about group support, which is going to be different. They said, to quote, "We're working on support for groups, players who want to associate casually and in large numbers. We expect that groups might be focused on a specific genre of arcade game, geographic location, barcraft, community website, popular personality, or esports organization."
Or podcast.
Podcast. Well, that'd be a community.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. I like the notion of the separation between clans and groups, where clans are this sort of tight-knit group of people that you play with frequently, and groups are just these general associations.
Yeah, so we'll probably have CBO, and then I don't know. We'll probably just make one called Starcast for you and me, Kyle, and like our close friends that we always play with that aren't members of CBO.
Yeah, we will have to have those divides, but it'll be really cool to see what happens. I'm personally hoping for clan ladder and maybe even a function
That would be cool.
that will allow for like team style gameplay where you can vote people into who's going to be competing next and that sort of thing.
Ooh.
Sort of, or some mechanics to support like you know, like an easy King of the Hill or like that kind of thing, like some sort of in-game tournament mechanic.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That's probably wishful thinking.
Well, you never know. We're getting a lot of stuff I never thought we'd see before. So, not that clan support is one of those things that should have been in the damn launch game. Blizzard
Well,
shakes fist.
yeah, I think they didn't really know how the actual like online interactions were going to shake out.
Yeah.
But one of the things about this is now the group chat makes a lot more sense with the new UI, which is a lot more open. They've gotten rid of so many buttons. I mean, currently, if you go and press matchmaking, you are bombarded with 1,000 buttons. Well, more like 8 in Wings of Liberty.
More like
but still,
8 massive buttons.
Yeah,
They're the
it's a little
biggest buttons
ridiculous.
you've ever seen.
And now it's more like, click here to play a game. And when you get done, there's a button that says, do you want to play again? And you can click and just play damn again. It's great. There's also, well, the XP's in there now, but you got the bars that are actually tracking your performance over multiple games. Your standard performance over your entire career, which is really awesome because you can see, based on your average, should you keep playing? Probably not. You should probably log off because you're sucking tonight.
Yeah, more or less.
One of the other big new additions that they have is the new observer tools. It seems like they've added in a whole bunch of different ways for observers to sort of analyze the data of the game that's going on at a much higher level. It seems like they can completely customize the UI to show different things, and obviously it means that hopefully that there's not going to be a requirement for third-party software to do a lot of the things like sponsorship graphics or overlays and that kind of thing. We'll see though.
Yeah, we're going to be able to edit the UI with custom graphics and stuff, which will be really nice. Also, in patch 2.0.1, which came out this past week, they've already made some changes to observer mode. There's going to be a leader panel, which they added a structure tab and an upgrades tab.
Obviously, this is for HOTS, not for
Right,
Wings of
Wings of
Liberty.
Right. This, of course, I think will all be retrofitted to Wings of Liberty when the Heart of the Swarm expansion drops.
I can definitely see that. Yeah.
So everyone will have access to it, whether you upgrade or not. So yeah, they added a structure tab and an upgrades tab. Observers can now click leader panel icons to center the game camera on a unit or structure, and clicking multiple times cycles through units of the same type.
Right. Not every tournament has access to Startale Legend, so they don't all have amazing observers that do this stuff naturally.
Yeah. Or Ed BC. He was on StarCast once. Make sure you go check out that interview. So let's talk a little bit more about patch 2.0.1 just in general. So
right.
yeah, we got some new maps, of course.
Yep, that was good since there's 2 or 3 in the ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice to have a few more.
They added a new, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's an unbuildable plate. They added this to the bottom of ramps, so this replaces the neutral supply depot that we have been seeing.
I'm not sure I like this.
Why? Why don't you like this?
Because I like the notion that if I destroy the neutral supply depot, that I can then build there.
You can destroy these.
Oh, you can destroy these?
They're targetable.
Okay. I thought it was just... Oh, okay. I thought these were just, an unbuildable spot at the bottom of the ramp, no matter what.
Nope.
Oh,
they can absolutely be destroyed. I've been playing some Terran this past week, and I love putting a bunker right there on my side, so... Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because there's a whole bunch of different scenarios where in the, if something goes really wrong, all of a sudden in the mid-game, that becomes very useful to be able to build in that spot.
Yeah, no, you can absolutely build there, and I had the same concern when we talked about it on StarCast last week, and I hadn't yet had a chance to try it out. So no, they can definitely be blown the hell up, which is quite nice.
It's cool. What do they look like? I haven't seen
They
them
just
yet.
look like a little pile of debris or like scrap metal, and they match whatever the tile set is.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a more elegant way of doing it than just some random white depot.
yeah.
Now,
I
of
agree.
course, more important than balance and things that don't break the game is units breaking in half. The new death animations have come to the game, and they are quite outrageous, incredible. The guys will fly almost and hit the screen.
Epic, awesome, wonderful. Gonna make the spectator side of things just that little bit more exciting, which is always
Oh, yeah.
great.
It's that little bit of extra flavor. They can
Well-
fall off cliffs and stuff too, can't they now?
Yep, they
And it really
absolutely
shows
can.
the force behind a hit, which is the cool thing. So Siege Tank blows a Hydra to pieces and it flies.
Yeah, it goes
Whereas,
flying back.
which thereby makes things like roaches cooler when they melt things because it's nice and clean, they disintegrate, and it doesn't look like everyone else who just kind of fell over and
Right,
dead.
right. Yeah, they die
Yeah.
in place.
Although, I mean, I have to say, the Wings of Liberty death animations are pretty great. I mean, there's some tremendous ones. When a Zealot kills a Marine,
I was just about to say,
Like-
I love when they
like, that's phenomenal.
or
Yeah.
a Marauder. They do that last slice, and they do that a slice
Sort of
cut.
slide into a couple of
Yeah,
pieces.
slides
and-
off, and it's wonderful. I'm glad that's exactly where you went because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Great.
And I
minds,
even
sir.
like, just the siege tank animations are pretty great too. When a hit lands on a couple of roaches and sparks fly everywhere, but they stay on fire for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like it's on their back and it slowly goes out,
Yeah.
fizzles as they run forward. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a great effect. Some other great things. I mean, we've talked about our love for stats on the show in the past, and they are back in full force in the Heart of the Swarm beta now. We have an improved score screen and added stats. So we have the experience tab. We have a performance tab. What the performance tab does is it tracks your gameplay performance, such as average float, combat efficiency, displays lifetime averages and values for the current match. They added a play again button to the post-game score screen, a race report that tracks your race matchup percentages, and a map report which does the same but for maps.
Just to clarify one thing real quick, I'm sure you guys have talked about this ad nauseum, but the XP gain thing is, I mean, essentially it's a glorified version of the achievement that tells you how many games you've played with a certain race.
Yes,
No.
but makes it achievable.
Not at
and-
all.
Well,
do you
no,
No.
it's basically the same thing.
No, it is not.
How so?
Why not?
Because with the old achievements, there was no... You got nothing for losing at all whatsoever. This
Oh, that's
one,
true, yeah. If
Every,
it was
every
games-
unit you kill, every unit you build, every structure you raise, you get experience. So
Oh,
whether you
interesting.
win
It's
or
not
you
just
lose-
games won.
Right.
Okay.
If you win, you get a massive multiplier. You get a big bonus if you win.
Okay.
If you
but
lose, you still
essentially, it's still like you play X amount of games and then you'll get portraits.
It's
With
more,
an
it's
achievable
more-
bar.
It's more you build and kill X amount of units, you will unlock more portraits.
Right.
And
But I
there's-
mean, it's just a matter of playing lots of games.
Right, but it's not centered around game numbers. It's centered around game performance.
Yeah, but eventually, to get the most amount of XP, you're going to have to play a bunch of different games. correct?
I'm just trying to. You're putting the emphasis on number of games played, and that's not what the emphasis should be.
I could
put
care
on.
less. Number of time spent playing the game. Amount of time spent playing
If you
the
care
game.
less, then why are you droning on?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's essentially the same thing. It's just a fancier way to track your progress. Yes? No? Okay. Don't
It's
worry.
not the intention.
Okay.
It's really well. I guess you could argue that it's meant to also make you want to try the other races because there's 20 levels that can be earned for all three races to get you that maximum level cap of 60.
Well, and the
Right.
biggest thing is in the in-between time, you're being rewarded while in-game with a visual cue. It's very light, a small little XP. I mean, it happens when I make, 50 Zerglings at once. The XP goes all around my hatchery, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I get to know that, ooh, I'm actually progressing. Whether I win or lose this game, I am that
Question.
much closer to new shinies.
Can you turn that off?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, you
good.
can. It is.
There's a lot of pro gamers out there who I'm sure would be furious for the extra clutter on their screens.
Well, and yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, they always make new accounts and those sorts of things when they come to tournaments. It would be stupid if they
Right.
kept on achievement. So you survived a drop, or you
Right.
you attacked and didn't get attacked for a whole 4 minutes. Like
MVP
like they
built
care.
10 Marines for the first time. Wow,
Oh,
good job.
Personally,
Wait a minute,
I don't
what?
know. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That excites the hell out of me. I would like to see that in more games.
It's more content.
It's good stuff. So we were going to talk about MLG Dallas at the end, but hey, I think we already exhausted that topic.
Yep.
One more thing that's super important about these upcoming UI changes that we haven't talked about. Attacked units will now flash white for the observers. And on the minimap, we will now get a ping when there's a nuclear launcher on Night Canal that crops up.
Gone are the days of where is it? Where is it?
Where
And
is
you
it?
see them just
Where is it?
dragging
Zooming
all
around the
over the
map.
minimap. Yeah. Especially, you remember the early days of Husky's YouTube
Yes.
replays? Oh, man. That was great. Oh, it's funny. That man has come a long, long way. Anyways, that does it for StarCraft. Let's talk a little Diablo 3. Patch 1.05 has a few more little undocumented changes we wanted to talk about. The sound and animation for identifying items is new and different from the town portal. It's a nice little, just small touch. Exploding abominations, called grotesques, I think, doesn't matter. They have a visual explosion radius now, which will, I always enjoy that. When they started adding that, WoW was a big fan, and I don't think I'm going to start complaining about it in this game either.
It lets you make your movements more efficient, which is kind of nice.
Right, exactly, and that was to us in the WoW. That threw me off so much on the final boss in Mogashan Vault's Will of the Emperor, because you have to do the dance during that combo that the bosses do, and there's not a visual cue as to where the safe zone is and isn't. So, oh man, I was getting my ass stomped.
That's funny.
Yeah.
This really excites me, guys.
What?
Because increasing graphics, visual cues, these sounds like things that are useful in a PvP situation. Particularly if you look at Corpse Bomb.
Dun.
That's not something... There is actual corpse pieces that fly in the radius of this ability of the Witch Doctor. It doesn't need an actual visual cue if you are casting yourself. Unless you... And even for your team, they don't care what you're blowing up. They're seeing it blow up. Actual opponents will care if they're standing in this.
Indeed, they will. I'll be curious to see if this makes its way into PvP. I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Oh, I'm sure it will. It makes a lot of sense for it to be there.
Yeah. Dune Threshers in Act 2 have an unburrowing animation now instead of just appearing as they did before, which is kind of nice. Goatmen Spears have a flashier animation, and there's various other small things that you can go check out over at...
Am I just a complete idiot, or can you guys tell the difference between the before and after shot for the Demon Hunter aura? Is it slightly blue?
I don't know. I haven't played a Demon Hunter in forever.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it too.
It's a side-by-side comparison photo, and I'm trying to determine the difference.
There's
I
a
agree.
slight
It looks-
blue feel.
Or are these both new?
Unless they are both. I don't
One
know.
of them slightly red, one of them slightly blue. They might just be new.
That has to be it. That has
All right.
to.
See,
That has
I
got
thought
to
it was a
be
before and after comparison. I'm like, I
If
don't see
it's
the
a before and after, the only difference I see is one's got a boar and one's got a hawk.
Yep.
That armor set is not very Demon Hunter-y. That bothers me.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
It's too gold, man. It's too gold.
That's just the light reflecting off of it.
Looks too gold. Anyways, there's other small undocumented changes as well.
I like that a lot of these like the radius graphics and stuff are subtle. Like it's not like a harsh line on the ground. Like it's integrated into the thing. You know, some of them look like a new like a graphic, like a rune on the floor or something like that, or like a subtle aura. It's very clear where the edge of it is, but it doesn't feel like it's a UI element, which I really like. They've done a tremendous job at really integrating it into the game. It feels natural.
I think they should overblow it a little more. I want lens flares. I want some embossing, and
That's right.
whatever cheesy Photoshop effects you can think of as well.
No, they need to stop. I want to see the same damn JRPG cutscene every time I use that ability. God, did you
sticky
guys ever
lines in the
play
background?
like
Oh, if they-
Final Fantasy after 8, where you had to summon the monsters, and it was cool the first time, but
Yeah, the only one I played at length was 10, and that just made me never want to play Final Fantasy again. I do not like those games at all. So, there's my 2 cents. Because we cannot close out a week without a little for fun mention. This is for fun. A demon hunter named Nugayan, I don't know. He posted a video of himself killing Monster Power 10 Amp Asmodan with 3.1 million DPS. So, enjoy that. You demon hunters, you now have something to live up to. And we've got a video of that in the show notes if you want to check that out later in the week over at thisweekinblizz.com. I may finally update them, maybe. Yep. And that does it for a very light episode of This Week in Blizz. It's been a slow week for news. So now that all of our work is done for us, I can ask you this: how excited are you for Halo 4?
Very. I gotta go pick up a copy.
Yeah, you gonna get it tomorrow?
Maybe. I'm not sure yet.
Can I tell you that I've never been less excited for a raid because of that game?
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm just like, why? We've put it off this long. Why do we have to do it on Halo 4 release?
Why can't we put it off for another 3 weeks?
Just another week, just so I can have I can get that first day Halo out of my system. Oh yeah.
Don't worry, you can do that tonight.
Bad timing. I have to work in the morning, sir. Some of us don't work from home.
What do you think sick days are for?
Sick days. Yes. Well, unfortunately, I've already looked into that, and bosses are out of the office tomorrow, so I have to go to work.
It sounds like a perfect opportunity to not be there.
Yeah, call and tell him you got the flood.
It means I have to take over and watch The Office.
The flood.
So, I've got the flood. Wonderful. So look forward to that. That does it. If you have not left us an iTunes review, please do so in the iTunes store. If you're a podcast listener, we really appreciate that. It helps the show out so damn much. If you missed BlizzCon, which was last weekend, over on the Frog Pants stream, you can catch the StarCraft talk portion of that Kyle and I did with Scott Johnson, either over on the Instance feed or it'll be up on the StarCast feed very soon. Just having all sorts of manners of issues with that file, but it'll be up very soon. And that was a lot of fun, so big thanks to Scott for putting that on. This Week in Blizz is a production of amove.tv. You can see more about This Week in Blizz over at thisweekinblizz.com, and please email the show. It's thisweekinblizz@gmail.com. We will put your email on the show and respond to it in kind. You can catch us live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time over at twitch.tv/amovetv. Follow us on Twitter at This Week in Blizz. Follow me at Garrett Art, and you can follow Kyle Ferguson over at, you guessed it, Kyle Ferguson. And to the people asking me what's Ben's Twitter, he doesn't have one.
Nope.
Not at all. Join us in WoW. We have a website for our guild. It's versustheworldguild.com. Versus is not spelt out, however. It is just VStheworldguild.com. You can apply there. We have a forum up and running now. You can chat with us outside of the game. But we really ask you guys to come and join us if you're looking for a new guild. If you're not opposed to Alliance, come on over. It's Lightbringer US, and we are having a lot of fun over there. You can find Kyle and I both over on Starcast, the StarCraft podcast. And Kyle, where can people find you when I'm done talking?
You can find me over at Biggest Fan Podcast, where we followed the fad that's driving you mad. And this week it is Doctor Who week. I'm quite excited. One, to be done with this, because I've watched all the David Tennant episodes, and I don't want to watch anymore. I have to, and it saddens me greatly. I have to sit through subpar doctors.
Oh, throwing down the gauntlet. Which one is that? Is that the most recent or the previous one?
The previous one, not the one with the bow tie.
Okay. Who's the new doctor?
Couldn't tell you. Smaller dude, a bit quicker, and I don't know. I don't know. I like Tennant's wackiness.
I know literally nothing about.
Yeah, it seems like just once when you get used to one, he's just replaced. He's ripped away from you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's a rough life. Enjoying TV shows.
So,
it can't go on forever.
Did the episode that made Tash cry make you cry?
Wait, which episode?
Oh,
the one he made me. He was telling me to watch.
Yeah.
The movies aren't on Netflix, or most of them aren't. So I'm gonna be watching I think it's the one he told me to watch tomorrow night. I'm not sure. It's a terrible idea. I don't know which one he told me to watch. If I cry, I'll let you know.
All right. Walking Dead made me cry last night, just a little bit. Teared up a little bit. That show needs to die because it makes me so depressed when certain people bite the dust.
Have you not started Legend of Korra yet? You finished all of Avatar.
I've watched the first 3 episodes. Really like it, but just haven't gotten around to continuing on with it. I know there's not much of it out yet, so I'm trying to to parse it out because God, I tore through Avatar and loved it. So I'm just glad to be back in that universe and know there's more coming. So it's good.
Vulture V4 says the deaths were predictable.
2 deaths were predictable. I disagree entirely. I don't know. I didn't see it coming.
Maybe he read the book.
Well, I'm still catching up in the book. I'm not very far, so no spoilers in the chat room. But it differs so wildly from the book now that you really can't make bets based on what happened in the book anymore. So. Anyways, that's that. Please go check out our sponsors, doghouse-systems.com and tweakedaudio.com. Our code is TWIB, TWIB. It gets you double memory on your next Doghouse gaming rig, and that same code will get you 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of from tweakedaudio.com. Yeah, exactly. They got some great earbuds over there. It's good stuff. So go check them out, and we will see you guys next week for hopefully a much more busy news cycle. Here on This Week in Blizz, episode 32. See you then, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.